Question: have you ever wondered if you're addicted to juggling? I'm Anthony Trahair, author of Pearls of Juggling, and I want to unpack this question a little bit, because sometimes we get a little bit worried if we're actually addicted to juggling. Okay, so let's dive in. So the aim of, let's take it back to yoga practice all of a sudden, because we could also say the same thing. Am I addicted to my yoga practice? Just because you do something every day, and if you missed doing it one day you would feel bad about it, doesn't mean you're addicted, strangely enough. Actually in yoga they go really deep into this, in the ancient texts, and they have a word for it, abhyasa it's called, which is continuous practice that goes on for a long time. And there's a lot more to this concept, but it's basically when a habit has become so ingrained into us that our body is actually asking us to do it, then the practice has really stabilized and focused. And so if you don't do yoga one day, for example, you will totally notice it, because your mind will be cloudy, your body will feel a bit stiffer. And so these are life skills, and they're practices to become present, essentially, right? Present in our bodies and our minds. And juggling, it works on all sorts of different levels, right? So your practice, what does juggling give to you? Why do you do it every day, let's say? Is it, I'm guessing, right, that you do it every day because somehow you've just decided that is like what you want to do. And if you haven't practiced for one day, you don't feel quite so good, you know. And there are reasons for this, you know. It's like because you don't want to lose your edge from your juggling, but also how you feel, how it makes your mind feel, how it makes your body feel. Because juggling, it's a practice, okay? It's a let's put it on the same level as yoga or tai chi. When we get to a certain level, it becomes a spiritual practice. And what do we mean by this? We mean that we do it just because we want to feel good, essentially, right? Okay, we might sort of mask it as it's my job, it's my profession, but why do you do it, right? Anyway, let's go back to it. Are you addicted to your juggling? Yes. Is it a bad thing? No, that's what I'm saying. But there are some nuances here, okay? So it might be that you're so focused on your juggling that you're ignoring everything else. And you know, there's a joke that goes around in the juggling community, which is when a juggler finally gets a girlfriend, then he stops juggling, right? So we need to find some middle ground here. I always say to people that an hour a day of juggling practice, focused juggling practice, an hour a day is enough. For some people it isn't, because, you know, we add things all the time. Oh, we've got this to do, we've got that to do. But there is ways of rotating things, you know. Bodybuilders, they go to a gym and they don't do everything every day. You know, they have a leg day and they have a chest day and a shoulder day and a back day and a neck day. No. And so they might do some things that are all every day. They do some things like the part of the warm-up, but they change around things. So this could already be a way of like not making our juggling practice take over our whole life, which is what we're worried about, right? When we say you're addicted to juggling, it's like, of course, our brain is fascinated by it. It loves it because it's hyper stimulated. And so quite often anything else doesn't quite hit the mark as far as juggling is concerned. Sports, acrobatics, these all come up to the same sort of level, right? But let's think about art as well. Art, you know, people that paint, they like to do it every day. If they skip a day, nobody probably notices in their work. Like musicians, nobody notices if you skip a day of practice, but you notice. You notice that you lose the edge a little bit. And we might have like sort of rest day practices which aren't full on, right? And if we think about Anthony Gatto, I was blown away when I found out that his training session was actually only like 2.5 hours long. because it was so jam-packed, and he had Nick Gatto, his father, kept passing him the props, so he was fully in the flow. And this is what we're addicted to, or addicted to being in the flow. And just to throw some thoughts out there, there are other ways that we can be in the flow. It's whenever we challenge ourselves. So lots of us jugglers, we're introverted, we're awkward socially often, we don't know what to say, and we can get into a flow state even practicing our social connections with people, starting off noticing and giving people compliments, right? That's one way. I always struggled with small talk, and but that's when it's about you and not about the other person. And then you find a middle ground. So it's a lot about listening, a lot about asking questions, curious questions. And but anyway, this is one way of getting into a flow state. And there are many, many ways of getting into a flow state. So, are you addicted to juggling? Yes, again, and why not? It's beautiful, you know. So what is the problem here? Okay, the problem is people can be addicted to sports, but if you're like a top level athlete, then people go like, yes, he needs to do this because he's a top level athlete, right? And with juggling, there isn't this sort of like return on your practice, you know. It's just seen as a bit weird, and we sort of pick up on this weirdness of other people. They don't quite get why we spend all this time throwing and catching objects in the air. So this is where we have some issues around it, right? Because we touch this play state, which is the joy of doing something for the pure. It's the pleasure of doing something for itself. There's no other reason we need to do this, and this is completely counter our Western society, where everything we do has to be for something else. And we jugglers, we know this in our hearts. We know that there is joy in play, right? So the more we bring play into the world around us, and the more that we invite other people into play, we invite them, we don't insist, right? We invite them into play. The more our worlds will be playful, and the more this whole thing about being addicted to juggling will just drop away. Okay, so let's share another little thing about this addiction to juggling. Sometimes it's the language that we use, you know. It's like, I have to juggle every day. It could be, I choose to juggle every day. I have my time slot for this. Sometimes we have other things that are important as well, and we need to do those. We need to work out how to do all this. So that's why we really need this minimum 1 hour training session. And this is why I always do it in the retreats that I've been offering since 1999. We do a 1 hour focus session, and that just covers the things you're working on, because we repeat a lot of things in our training sessions. There's a lot of wasted time, let's say. We're not so creative, we're a bit mechanical sometimes. Not always, but I'm sure your training can be improved enormously. So yeah, these are just some thoughts of mine around whether you're addicted or not to juggling. And I would always say, ride the wave. If you're passionate about something, ride the wave. It won't last forever, or it might do. Hopefully it does, but it doesn't normally last forever, this addictive hardcore stage. For me, it probably lasted about 5 years, something like this, of being like really passionate about it all the time. And it's a channel for this energy, you know. You could say ADHD or energetic. For me, juggling really was therapy. It was a way for me to put my energy into something, in my mind to focus into something. So for lots of us, juggling is therapy, right? And it's really good for our mental health. And we live in a really sick society. So, hey, I would really love to read your comments on this, on these thoughts. And yeah, I write about these things also a little bit in Pearls of Juggling, not about the addiction thing, but there's lots of thoughts in this book. And yeah, catch you in the comments.